Alrighty, give it a second here to breathe. Hello, 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 and happy Saturday evening to everybody joining us. This is the Mile High Insiders podcast. I am Nicholas Kendell, along with my co-host today, Luke Patterson. Luke, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man, considering the Broncos have a win and we don't have to worry about that, for one Sunday at least. So feeling pretty confident, man. We got a huge show lined up for everybody today. It's going to be one of those where we got some leftovers to go over against the Jets game. We're
The
going to
best
go
kind,
into
though,
some
after a win. Those are the best of them.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about some players that were added. I mean, the Broncos aren't wasting any time here. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Patriots and if Denver's going to be able to beat them, how are they going to do it? And we got a huge show lined up for you guys. But before we get to that, I want you guys to know that tonight's live stream podcast is brought to you by sportsbetting.com. Broncos country, gambling's now legal here in Colorado. And here's what makes sportsbetting.com a no-brainer for sports fans. Sharp odds and low juice. They have in-house bookmakers. They're not a third-party provider of odds. Reduced juice, best prices. Hassle-free bonuses that's for a one-time rollover, meaning the bonus money is yours after you bet if one time. Only one time. Other sites ranging from 5 to 30 times, 24/7 live customer service support. Always a real person that's willing to talk to you. Here's the kicker. At sportsbetting.com, you can get a 100% risk-free week of sports betting up to $500. Not just one bet, but all of your bets. Play for a week, and if your losses exceed your winnings at the end of the week, sportsbetting.com will cover 100% of the difference, up to $600 with it. So that's a one-time rollover, y'all. Head on over to sportsbetting.com/Mile High Huddle. That's sportsbetting.com/Mile High Huddle and capitalize on a risk-free week of sports betting up to $500.
Sounds good to me. And also, guys, head on over to Twitter. You can find us on Twitter at Luke Patterson LP and myself at Nick Kendell MHH. You can see it on the screen there. Also, listen or follow us on Twitter at MHI_football pod and, of course, at Mile High Huddle. And it's a Sunday off tomorrow. So are you going to be watching football still? Or are you going to be doing something with the family, taking advantage of the non-Bronco weekend?
My family's already taken advantage of it. My little girl's having a sleepover, and my wife's off on a weekend retreat with some of her girlfriends. So I'm going to be locked into football all day, man. I can't wait. I just can't seem to get enough of it, Nick. I know you're going to be watching as well if you're not working. But the biggest thing I'm going to be watching, Chiefs Patriots, man. That's a big one, as especially it being, Patriots week for the Broncos already. So that's number one on my slate. But before we get there, we got a huge show we got to get to.
And that's being moved to Tuesday, isn't it? That's my understanding.
Oh, did it? I did not know that. Was that today? Did that come out today?
I think so. Well, Cam Newton is positive for
I heard it for the unspeakable thing that is happening among the world that lots are, getting. So, I did see that. You know what? Let's just touch on that since we're here real quick. So, a game of interest. We know what the Chiefs are. And, we had an idea maybe what the Patriots were. I want to say what's up to some people before we get there. It looks like we got Greg Smith coming in here. Everybody knows Bawana Beast on the ones and twos. Terry Randall. What's up, Terry? Appreciate you so much, man. Always in there breaking news. Levi. What's up, Levi? Thanks for joining us here on Saturday night. We got Zach in here. We got Duke. Man, we got Cody
Steven
Potter up in here. Oh, Steve-O's in the house, and Levi's already coming in with some Broncos country. Man, Broncos country has a lot of questions before we even know where to start, man. I think we just got to start kicking it out. The biggest thing for me with the Patriots and the Chiefs, man, is you have to try to figure out what you can take from each side of the ball, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Now, the Broncos, they have their problems on offense, but it is a scoring points league, and the Broncos proved they could score above 17 points last week against the Jets, Nick. I'm not saying they're going to throw for 49 against the Pats or try to hang in there with Pat Mahomes of the Chiefs, but a lot of encouraging signs, man. I'm feeling good with the Broncos getting at least one win under their belt. I don't care if it's against a garbage, awful, dirty team, and that's what I'm going to call the Jets because that's what they are. But the Broncos deserve the win. I'm happy to see they got it, man.
I almost hope that they get the first overall pick and Trevor Lawrence pulls Eli Manning, John Elway, and says, "Screw you
I'm not
guys,
doing it.
trash organization." I mean, I literally felt sympathy for Mekhi Becton this weekend because he was in so much pain each snap. And no, you don't want to take anything away from Bradley Chubb because he had such a good game, but like Becton was in so much pain that negligence.
What was that injury, Nick? I wasn't sure what was going on with Mekhi Becton.
I think it was a shoulder injury, and he was not supposed to. He was supposed to be inactive, but they didn't have enough people, so they made him active. And then, like the second play of the game, Chiduma Uwogu, or gosh, he's a former right tackle from Udoga from USC, and he was hurt immediately. So, and they put him in, and Becton was not right. So that was sad. I mean, just the Jets being a trash organization. So I would not blame anybody for saying, I'm not going there. Just sad. So, but we got to get to the Levi here real quick. We do want to talk Cam Newton and the Chiefs, but we don't want to let the super chat get away. Levi, thank you so much. With Fant out now, and also I know the Broncos won on Thursday, but with Fant being hurt, my heart hurts. He was one of like two people on the offense that I was feeling good about, considering all the injuries right now. But with Fant out, do you now see Albert O? Yep, I think. If Fant's not playing, you're going to see Alberto out there because it's just a bodies game at that point. And this is his chance. I know that we had a big episode about this last week, but we were saying, you don't take Fant off the field for Albert O. Fant needs to be on the field as much as possible because right now he was their best offensive playmaker. But now he's hurt week to week, ankle injury, which is just such a bummer. Again, I'm really glad it's not longer, but that's a major bummer because he was breaking out. I mean, he was having a phenomenal season considering how everything else seems to be going wrong for the Broncos. But it is Alberto time. You're going to see him out there. And to what extent his role is once Fant comes back. I mean, really, it's your time, buddy. This is the platform. You have a chance to go out there and not give a spot back. So I know you're excited about it. I hope he lives up to Broncos country's hype because a lot of people have expectations for him. And me, I'm always I got to see it out there before I believe it. I mean, he was a day 3 pick in a weak tight end class. So I know he's big. I know he ran the 40 really fast. You have a platform now. It's your chance, Albert. Go take it.
Oh, Levi, what an excellent question. Coming firing out of the gates. I greatly appreciate that. And Nick, I appreciate your answer as well. I'm smiling right away. You're saying it's Albert O time. I love it. We got to get that hashtag going, Albert O time. Yeah, man, Noah Fant, I hear you. It's a bummer, obviously. Ankle injuries, man, the ankle is one of the worst designed pieces of the human body, man. It's just designed to roll and do all kinds of bad stuff. So I'm glad that MRI didn't show significant damage to Noah. He is going to take it week to week per Adam Schefter. Go check out that story at milehighhuddle.com. Chad's been all over it and trying to track down all these injuries and what they mean. But ultimately, I think Noah's probably going to be back in a couple weeks, and that's going to be okay. Now, is Albert O going to get an opportunity? I say yes. You say yes. Do the Broncos say yes? Because that's one of the things that I'm really worried about, Nick. I mean, these guys, speaking of Nick, they love Nick Vannett, and I don't know what else to say. I don't want to trash the guy and keep going down that line because I don't think he deserves it. But then again, I don't think he necessarily deserves to be getting all the run that he's getting right now either. He's not a terrible player and he's not a good player. He's a Jag. He's just another guy for me. And it's one of those things where I hope that they at least start to consider putting Alberto in the game because otherwise eventually it seems like injuries are just biting every position on this team. So I think Alberto is going to see playing time this year. I'm just not 100% convinced. I haven't talked to anybody or heard anything. I don't know if you have, but I'm just, until Coach Fangio says, yeah, he's getting in there a little bit, then I'll feel a little bit better.
Yeah, Nick Vannett, I didn't really understand the signing when it happened because it really a waste of a roster space. Well, Thomas, I'm not going to say anything either way. I'm going to be a little nicer than that. But I felt like it was an equivalent move to Jeff Hireman. Like, really, how much better or not even better is Vannett to Hireman? I really don't understand that move. So they actually lost money because of the dead money with Hireman doing that. So it didn't make any sense to me when they did that. You're looking for that wide tight end, doesn't bring very much in the pass game other than dump off. So I don't know. They have him on the roster now. I mean, he's a guy, honestly, if he keeps struggling like this, we may have to have a conversation of releasing him to salvage some compensatory picks. There's some formula out there. I'm not sure exactly what the cutoff is, but there's, I mean, with Jeff Driscoll, Nick Vannett. I think the Broncos might be able to get a 6th-round comp pick if they release those guys before week 10. Don't quote me on that. There's definitely some specifics out there,
Right.
but that's something you have to consider. But right now, it's probably I would definitely say it's Albert O time. How much are they going to use him? It's not going to be like he's going to totally replace Fant because Fant knows the playbook year 2 here. Also, a much more nuanced route runner for the tight end position than Albert O. But also, honestly, a lot of people give Fant a hard time for blocker. He's not a great blocker, but he's not totally incompetent. That's the big thing I'm looking for about Albert O. Are they really limiting his usage? Is he just running seams and drags kind of find the soft spot in the zone? Are they asking him to block? So it's really, he's going to get a chance. I don't have any question about that with Fant out. How are they going to use him? That's the specifics that we need to see it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, we had the queen of MHH coming in here. What's up, Christy? Appreciate you joining the MHI show here with Nick, Bawana, and us. No, man, I she was just saying, and to echo my point a little bit, and Christy, I appreciate the feedback, but, that ankle injury, Nick, it's nagging, man. And speaking of ankle injuries, and not to completely go away from Noah Fant, because we got a lot we can talk about with Noah Fant and Albert O, but I start to wonder with Graham Glasgow. When he hurt his ankle in the stadium scrimmage practice, or whatever you wanted to call that debacle of the offense that day, he's not quite playing up to snuff right now. I'm not sure tons of the Broncos offensive linemen are. Some are getting run down a little bit more than they should, and others are surprising. And I'm sure we could get into that as well. But man, that ankle injury, it's nagging, and it can nag a guy. I'm glad to see that they didn't play Phillip Lindsay. Now, I am okay with that. Now, I've seen on Twitter the conspiracy theories of, Phillip doesn't want to play anymore because he wants a contract. No. Phillip is going to get paid. I don't know if it's going to be by the Broncos, but know this: Phillip Lindsay is a competitor. Say what you want about the guy. He's a competitor and he wants to get on the field. He's not going to get paid if he's not on the field. So I want to put that one to bed right now before we get into some Trevor Lawrence and stuff too. Nick, I don't know how you feel about it.
For Phillip Lindsay, he needs to get out there and show that he is more than a gap runner in any system, because right now that's his best, especially ISO with that fullback. That's where he's shown his best, but really he needs to show that he can help in the passing game. So, I mean, obviously the Broncos paid Gordon. Gordon is their 1A or 1, whatever you want to call that semantics. I don't care. But I mean, Lindsay has to get out there and show that he can contribute in the passing game. And right now, not playing, he's definitely costing himself money. So
let me just ask you, point blank, because I completely agree with you. He has to show multi-dimensional aspects of his game and improve them as well. Do you think he should have played against the Jets?
No, absolutely not. The field for the Jets is
garbage.
I mean, it's an embarrassment for the NFL. I mean, players are getting hurt left and right. Like, it's just sad. Again, Trevor Lawrence, don't go play for the Jets, buddy. You're done. I mean, I think Sam Darnold still got a lot left in the tank. Some of the throws he made and plays that he made in that game were gorgeous. I mean, you get that guy in Pittsburgh. If they trade him to Pittsburgh, I mean, look out. But the Jets are just such a trash organization. So it's bad. But anyway, Lindsay, I don't blame him. I think
I thought we were on the same. I thought we were on the same page there, because I know how you feel about running backs, and I'm there myself right now. It's a passing league. Call it what it is. Now, we could sit here and love 90s football, early 2000s football as much as we want. That's not coming back. Play fantasy football and look at your running backs this week and see how many targets they get, okay? Like, the running back position is transitioning a little bit more into the passing game. Actually, I would say a lot more into the passing game. So Phillip Lindsay definitely needs to improve that. But Melvin Gordon, I thought Melvin Gordon overall had a decent night. I'm not going to say that I was super impressed with tons of things that he did. I think the offensive line necessarily didn't give him all the help that he needed. Sometimes Brett Rippon blocked a little bit better than the offensive line in some cases. But, I was happy to see Pat Shurmur go to him. I think overall 26 times. I think between passing and running, he got 26 touches. And I think that's important, Nick. Just finishing up on the running back position a little bit. How do you feel they used Melvin Gordon, specifically Pat Shurmur's use of the $9 million running back?
Well, this is going to be somewhat of a cop-out, but again, it comes back to running backs for people drafting in the first round or paying them contracts. It really comes down to the blocking. A running back can do as much as blocked for them. And right now, the Broncos' interior offensive line is struggling. I mean, say what you will about the Broncos' offensive line the past 3 years, especially in pass blocking, but that unit's actually been really good in the ground game. And so far to start the season, they are getting no push. They're struggling really badly. And Dotson, I think, gave up 4 hurries, but he was much better in the pass game than Wilkinson has been. But he also is not getting a push. So now you add that to it. There's just inconsistencies in communication. Cushenberry is struggling a lot. Glasgow, I'm not sure if, again, you made a point of how healthy he is. And Reisner is playing really bad football right now, which is sad because I'm such a fan of the person, Dalton Reisner, but he's struggling. He's not moving his feet. So, I mean, for as good as Gordon did, granted, again, the Jets are trash. But that interior offensive line, that interior trio, really struggling. And I'm not sure what to make of it.
That's a great transition, Nick. I love the way this show is just going great right now. We had a plan for how the show was going to go, and we still have to get there. But we're covering this Jets game, and I love where you're taking it, because I sent out some tweets earlier to you about Dalton Reisner, and now he's continuing to struggle. And it's a little bit of a sophomore slump so far. Now, do I expect him to pick it up? You bet. Why wouldn't he? I mean, that's like saying, Philip Lindsay had a couple bad games. It doesn't mean you're going to go cut the guy. I mean, that's just no way. So I think, though, I'm starting to get a little nervous. Maybe he's going to be a 10-time Pro Bowler as long as he's here the next 20 years and be the greatest offensive lineman ever. Maybe that's a little premature. Maybe we need to pump the brakes on that just a little bit. He's certainly not the beast of the offensive lineman that Quentin Nelson is out there in Indianapolis, but then again, nobody is. So I expect Reisner's game to improve. Now, I did reach out to a Broncos insider just a couple of days ago and just start picking his brain on it. And one thing that I definitely came away with was maybe the guy's stretched away too thin. I mean, he's got a rookie center on his right side. Garrett Bowles has been playing significantly better at the left tackle position in both the run and passing game. You have echoed that sentiment on Twitter. I completely agree with you on that. I'm not so sure I want to issue the guy a contract quite yet, but when you think about Dalton Reisner, I mean, yeah, he's still assisting Garrett Bowles on some points because of the nature of the job. It's not because Garrett Bowles isn't incompetent anymore. That has completely changed. But he's also trying to help Lloyd Cushenberry. And then he's got his own assignments. I'm starting to think Dalton Reisner bit off a little bit more than he can chew in terms of trying to help both guys. I need him to focus more on his guy right now, and I expect the young guy to improve.
And I know it's a cop-out, and it's something we talk about every single week, but as far as the offensive line, I thought coming into this season, given it was an abbreviated offseason due to the state of the world, but I thought the passing game would, especially the timing and the routes, would be the thing that's most impacted in today's NFL. But, I mean, easily, it's the offensive line communication. I mean, we were already seeing it. There's many reasons why offensive line play is down across the NFL, but one of the reasons is there's less padded practices. So those players, those 5 guys do not have the communication and synergy that they typically do. And now you add where there's like almost very little padded practices. There's no preseason. You don't really have those chances to really get that cohesion between those 5 guys. And now you're breaking in a rookie center as well. It's been a cluster for them. And I think that's a big reason that the run blocking is struggling. That being said, God, we want to shift gears here. I want to shift gears here for a second, but let's pull up here. I saw it. It was Terry. There we go. Buana, you're on it. Use the force, Luke, whatever Nick's drinking fun. I'm drinking water because actually I'm not going to be watching football tomorrow. I'm actually making the drive to Southeast. I'm going to go do a hiking trail on Mount Rainier while it's still good out. So I'm going to take advantage of the nice weather. Yeah, it'll be fun. Going to be up at 4 a.m. My wife's not excited about that, but got to do what you got to do.
What you got to do.
Yes, exactly. The offensive line, coming back to it here. I know that Buana said talking about the DL, but I'm not ready to do that. And yeah, Terry, you're the man. We love you. The offensive line, I know it's the Jets, but can we acknowledge that the offensive line's ability to block and perform is so interconnected and dependent on the quarterback that like those games when people were pooping on the offensive line against the Steelers and the Bucks, honestly throw him out because Jeff Driscoll's got like Helen Keller syndrome in the pocket. He can't see or hear anything, just sees nothing. He's holding on to the football. The blitz is obviously coming. He's not doing checks. And then Rippon, God bless him, very little tools But he can see that coming. He can do the checks. He can get to the hot read. And it's just such a difference maker. So, like, while the offensive line got beat by two of the best front sevens in football in Tampa Bay and the Steelers, that difference in quarterback and that quarterback's ability to get the ball out and recognize where pressure is coming, night and day difference. Night and day. So, again, people want to really crap on the offensive line because that's really popular to do, and they're having issues. But, like, let's acknowledge how much of a difference maker having a quarterback back there that can do anything.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with you. Absolutely, that's a correlation. You could go back to last year with Joe Flacco, who we got to see a little bit of, and he's the same statue that he was here, maybe even more some. Yeah. So, absolutely, I agree with you. Now, before I get into Jeff Driscoll, real quick, yeah, the differences were there. Now, Rippon, man, God bless the guy. He's tough. He was the hero. He was not the villain, but almost a little naive kid at times. But he made it through. Now, he just has so much air underneath his throws, Nick. I mean, yeah, I've seen him. You've seen him. Jerry Jeudy saw him and was able to get that one in the end zone. Tim Patrick had to slow down on that. I believe it was an inner shoulder catch. It's just the air and the arm isn't there, but you're exactly right. The intellect is being able to pick up those blitzes and stuff like that makes all the difference in the quarterback protecting himself a little bit. You're exactly right. The offensive line, they're responsible for protecting the quarterback, the running back, making sure that the receivers get the ball, have that time, all kinds of those things as well. But you know what? The quarterback's also responsible for protecting himself a little bit. And it seemed like, Brett Rippon was willing to hang in there and take those shots. But speaking of the Jets offensive line, I do want to say this. It was infuriating to me that the Jets offensive line could pick up the Broncos blitz. Several times the Broncos got through there. They should have had way more sacks than they did, just because poor tackling. I would imagine Vic Fangio is going to emphasize tackling, specifically wrapping up this week at practice. But, for me, man, it was maddening because I felt like, everybody knows Alexander Johnson loves going right through the A and B gap, and they're able to pick that up. Even with Josie Jules coming in there, who I think had a good game, specifically in the passing game. I mean, he put on, I think, career film against the Jets, and they are the Jets.
If only he could have to stop Frank Gore in the passing game every week. Then he'd be amazing.
Was that who was flexed out there one-on-one?
Yes, they did a wheel route with Frank Gore.
I saw that. Now I didn't know who was out there with him, but so the first thing, I'm looking at the bottom of my screen and I go, that's not a cornerback. That's a linebacker. And then I'm looking at oh no, that's the outlaw out there. But I think he had a good game. But again, to get back to Jeff Driscoll just a little bit, man, don't get cute, Pat Shurmur, and put him in for some little RPO quarterback draw thing. Give me a break. The Broncos do not do that. This is, not the 2009 Sperano Dolphins with the Wildcat, and we're going to try to innovate these quarterbacks and switch them up. No, we're not doing that anymore. Brett Rippon's your guy. Make sure he stays up.
Yeah, and Brett Rippon, I mean, he had some really great throws out there. He made some good reads. Sure. It's just that arm talent. So maybe he's going to end up being the Broncos' backup quarterback. That's very possible. But honestly, with how much they talk about him in the classroom and how well he connects with the guys, I'm hoping that he's on the fast track to becoming a offensive quality coach, on the track to quarterback coach, offensive coordinator in the system for a bit. That's what I'm hoping for. But I mean, again, everybody really speaks highly about Brett Rippon, the dude. So congrats on the win. Obviously, there's things to go on, and we will really see what's up with him if he does go against the Patriots next week, because Bill Belichick getting a week of tape on him, I mean, good luck, I guess, because the Broncos are dealing with so many injuries. It's going to be tough. But we definitely want to get here to ZW Designs. Tanking attitude needs to stop because we are way better than the Jets, Browns, and Dolphins. I don't know if they're better than the Browns and Dolphins. They're definitely better than the two New York teams, but I think they're probably right there with the injuries, right there with the Browns and Dolphins. Tanking attitude is for sucky teams. You're just talking about historically teams that are losing culture, not this season. So I don't know, man. I'm a big Brian Flores fan with the Dolphins. I think he's going to turn that team around, but we will see. Also, I think Tua is going to be very good. But tanking attitude needs to stop. We definitely agree with you, ZW Designs. And we got to get to some I guess, recent transaction news here. We've been talking about the last game. We can always come back to that if the chat dictates it that way. Bwana working the keys back there.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I'm going to interrupt you
real
quick because I want to plug Zach, ZW Designs. Zach threw, and I'm going to plug it every single show just because I love it. I'm waiting for mine as well. And Bwana, I don't know if you could get maybe that image up later in the show, and I'll plug it again. But get on over to milehighhuddle.com. Check out all our writing. We got podcasts, all kinds of stuff on Spotify. Y'all know that, but you got to get your swag on too. And ZW Designs designed an awesome shirt. HuddleUpPod.com. Now, he's got a wicked shirt that he designed. Let him hate. I know he's got Drew Lock's number on there. So, Zach, appreciate you so much. A super chat superstar on that Mount Rushmore, as the boss man would say. So, appreciate you so much. Sorry to interrupt, Nick, but anytime I see Zach in the show, I feel special, man, because Zach's my boy. And dude, that dude spits fire, because I completely agree. Tanking for the Broncos? Are you kidding me? These are the Denver freaking Broncos. All right. 3 world championships. What, been to how many Super Bowls? Is it 8, 9? I mean, yeah, this is a historic franchise. Now, they're not a good team, but that does not mean they're a garbage organization. I get that hard times are still happening right now. There are going to be some more tough times to continue. But you know what? Tanking for Trevor Lawrence, that's not the Broncos' way. I know they're trying to figure out who they are and everything, but man, John Elway is not going to go from the ultimate competitor to let's just suck out and give it another shot at another quarterback.
Okay, I'm gonna go off on this a little bit. I agree with you to an extent, where so many of these guys, it's a do or die league, and it's week to week. So like the players, they're not going to lose on purpose. The coaches, they're not going to lose on purpose. But let's say the Broncos drop the next 3 games, and they are, what would that put them at? 1-6. Yep. And at the trade deadline, I don't see any reason why you'd hold on to a player that's probably going to be gone this offseason or the next offseason, when you could get back trade capital. And you could put younger guys in spots to get them experience and to evaluate them. So somebody who I absolutely love, somebody like, let's say, Kareem Jackson. He's older. He's definitely a guy who gets some value. You could probably get a 4th round pick for him. Why wouldn't you shop him and get that capital for him, save the money to roll over, and then get that position for somebody like Trey Marshall or somebody who you don't know very much about? Now you're going to get a chance to evaluate him, and you're going to get extra draft capital, extra cap capital. And now a young guy gets a shot. So I think there's ways. It's not tanking, but I think it's readjusting your priorities for the season and just giving a shot for younger guys to hopefully take the reins.
I agree. That's great analysis, and that's accurate. And I hope that they would at least consider that, because sure, you can move on from some cash-rich players. And by the way, I'm starting to think maybe not signing Justin Simmons was a decent idea from John Elway. I don't know what that cat's doing. Yeah, he's looking better as the weeks go on, but you're not even trying to tackle Sam freaking Darnold, dude. Give me a break. And yeah, I saw in the tweets that he blew someone up on the next series out of frustration. I don't care, dude. You're supposed to be an elite safety, then blow that cat up. At least tackle him. I mean, you got the New York Jets kicker out there hitting players, and then Justin Simmons, man, I'm disappointed with that, but I completely agree with you, bro. Completely agree with you. See what you've got. And you know what, Nick? It's quite possible that the Broncos will lose more games, and it's very likely. And the next 3 weeks, man, it's not getting any easier. And, to quote Peyton, there's nothing easy out there, right? And sure, you need to be responsible, but you've got to figure out which direction you're taking this team. And when you don't have your starting quarterback, who you're building a franchise around, out there, and some other players due to injuries, I'm not making excuses, it's confusing. And sometimes you're scratching your head and just trying to stay above water.
Yeah. So just coming back to that overall premise there, I don't think that's, I guess you could call that tanking, but the Broncos aren't selling guys for pennies. And also they're not just going to sell them to sell them. But let's say they're at that point where they lose the next 3 games, which who knows? I think they'll probably have a chance in that Dolphins game, but who knows? Any given Sunday. But I don't think that is necessarily tanking. It's just kind of changing the priorities and the perspective of the season, getting young guys out there, letting them see what they can do. and let the dice fall as they may. So, and
But
also I want to give a shout out to Darnold. I think Darnold's a little bit underrated. I feel bad. Again, I already kind of did it, but like he's out there looking like Tony Romo with some of those plays. So you're giving a hard time about Alexander Johnson. Got to finish the play there. Justin Simmons, I understand it's a quarterback, but Darnold on his own right is a decently athletic quarterback. Somebody save him from the Jets. God, please. But I just want to give, God, I feel bad for him. But I don't think there's that much shame in some of those plays where he went out there and made some stuff happen. That one with Justin Simmons, unacceptable. That was ugly. But a couple other ones there where he made some plays. Sometimes good players are going to go out there and make plays. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I would agree there. And Thomas coming in, we need to keep Shelby. Don't know about that, Thomas. He's kind of a rental, and he's a great rental. He's that rental truck that you get, and you're just like, man, this thing is sweet. Hopefully we get it next time. Well, that worked out for the Broncos this year, and it's working out for Shelby Harris right now. I'm not saying he's going to go and get paid after this fat year that he's having. PH fat, like Lawrence Taylor said, and it's just one of those things, man, where the guy's producing. I can also see that the guy's exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And one direction I want to go here from Shelby Harris and his exhaustion, the defensive line. Yeah, we know they're beat up. Bradley Chubb, he's still beat up, man. He's still beat up. Don't tell me that he's not sore. I know it's sore, just like I know Rippon sore, and all those other things, man. But we got some old Broncos, Nick, that have returned to the team. What have you heard within the last 48 hours of maybe at least one familiar name and one name that people might recognize coming back to the orange and blue?
Yeah, so a lot of times I'm not about bringing back former players, especially if you don't have coach ties to them. But interestingly enough, the Broncos are bringing back former first-round pick Sylvester Williams out of the University of North Carolina, was the starting nose tackle for the Broncos in that 2015 Super Bowl. Granted, he had some good players around him. And then also Darius Kilgo, who came out of the University of Maryland, I believe. I can't remember what round. I want to say a 6th-round pick, but a big guy.
Yep, he was a 6th-rounder.
How do I remember these things? Because
we love the NFL draft. We love it. You're already working on guys for next year. I wait at least until December for me to get going just because it's too much. I get too overwhelmed, but that's how you know it, dude, because you're a draft expert, man. We love the draft. We're draft nerds.
Absolutely. So Darius Kilgo and Sylvester Williams back. We will see. I guess the question, are you expecting to see them? I know it's a long week for the Broncos to kind of gear up, but are you expecting to see them in the rotation for the Patriots? Or you think it's going to be more Miami and the Chiefs?
Hard to say. Who was the player that they picked up on the tarmac before they dressed him for the Jets, the defensive lineman that they signed?
I don't remember.
I'm forgetting his name, and John, maybe you can help pull that up for me. I'm spacing on it now. I don't know if he got any playing time, but they certainly panned to him, and they did say that the Broncos met him on the tarmac. They got him his gear. And
is it Timmy Jernigan?
Jernigan, there you go. Yep, that's exactly who it was. So you saw him out there. I think he was wearing a number in the 70s, which is, of course, just another testament to the Broncos defensive linemen that are getting hurt. All the number 90s have been taken, and they're not on the field and stuff like that. So you're starting to see guys coming off of the street, meeting on the airport. So why not, Nick? Sure. Maybe you could see, I don't think you're going to see both guys dressed necessarily. Sylvester Williams being on that practice squad, but you bet you're going to see him. You know why you're going to see him? And you hinted on it earlier saying you want to see some young players. Well, we're seeing them right now. How many practice squad guys did we have out there the other night? Between 6 and 8 or something like that. It's just, this team is snake bitten. I get it. I'm tired of talking about it. So get used to seeing these fresh bodies. But man, it's one of those things where Sly, as his teammates call him, and Sylvester Williams, I think he actually played in 2 Super Bowls. Go read an article from Chad Jensen on milehighhuddle.com that he released yesterday. I think it was saying he was part of the Super Bowl, was it 48 loss against the Seahawks as well. At least that was a tweet that Kliss put out there saying, welcome back to the big guy. Saw some highs, saw some lows, and ultimately was a member of that championship. And then I believe he went to Tennessee, and then so did this other cat, this Darius Kilgo. Is that how you say that?
Kilgo.
I still can't. We did the pregame and I still can't get it right. So he went to Tennessee also, man. So you're seeing some former Broncos come back. Sure, you're going to see him. I don't know if you're going to see him this week, but count on seeing him.
Yeah, and that I think Sylvester Williams would have been a rookie that season. I think he was in that
It was his rookie year.
that 2013 class. You go check it out. There's some names in there, but guys, you really got to go see that 2013 class. It was absolutely garbage. That was the year where Eric Fisher went first overall. So not a good draft class, guys. I mean, Eric Fisher's made a career, but for a first overall pick, not great.
I'd agree with that.
2013 was just a bad year. Imagine Broncos got really lucky having the second overall pick in 2011 because that 2011 class was incredible. But it just shows you year to year, it's not always the same. This first overall pick and the second overall pick, year to year, it really depends on that specific class. And I saw Duke giving me a hard time. Duke, I hope your granddaughter is doing well. I saw she was getting some medical tests as well. I also saw somebody here from Kenneth Booker. Kenneth, good to see you. Will Cam be able to play when the Broncos play them? Wait and see. This is 2020, guys. I know we're here in the prediction business, but anything beyond a week, I'm just throwing my hands up and letting God take the wheel, right? Like, Jesus take the wheel. Who knows what the heck's going to happen? This has just been the craziest year ever. So will Cam play next week? I have no idea. And should we open that can of worms? You kind of talked about it for a second. Should we open up that can of worms that is the Tennessee Titans right now?
Yeah, man, let's do it. I don't know. Yeah, Ken, I appreciate it, brother. I really do. Will Cam? That's the question, man. That's the question. I don't know. Part of me wants to say no right now based off of games being delayed and stuff like that. And you're looking on, I know everybody's checking their fantasy football team to see, if they have the Steelers or the Titans and what that means. And, it's a bye week on your fantasy team and all that stuff. So when the NFL starts to reschedule games, Nick, I get a little concerned. I get really concerned because the NFL does not like to do these things. The NFL has already been in a pinch. They scrambled to put a season together that seems to be working well for the most part, and there are major concerns. So that being said, yeah, man, let's open it up. What do you got?
Man, it felt like there was the false sense of security with how the season opened, with how much testing was going on. And then you have it, you really see how quickly this can snowball out of control. And just I don't want to go into too many specifics. I don't want to get the channel in trouble. I actually am an epidemiologist by trade. That's my educational background. But it's
And explain what that is. Explain what that is, Nick, because I started out as a bio major and stuff too and worked in the healthcare field. But yeah, man, just to, touch in real quick, explain what that is and how that relates to how you look at, NFL operations.
Well, I look at a lot of numbers, a lot of data crunching. Statistical analysis has been my frenemy for many years now, and I'm in the public health side of things. So people know what epidemiology is these days. I think a little bit. It's nobody's going to ask me if I'm a skin doctor anymore when I tell them I'm an epidemiologist. So that, I guess that's one positive coming from 2020. But it's just, I'm really curious to see the fallout from this if this keeps spinning. I mean, we see that they were testing everybody, but more and more players come out infected, which shows how much there's kind of a lag time between when people are infectious and like they're not even getting a positive test yet. So you have to be like so far down the line before a positive test would even show. So, and then it's the 2 to 14 days between becoming infected. So I think there were 3 more Titans today that came out as positive. So, I mean, who knows what the heck's going to happen with the Titans? Now we have Cam Newton. Luckily, the Vikings and a bunch of these other teams haven't had him, but like, there's not much wiggle room, right? Like if the Titans miss 2 weeks, who are 3-0, by the way, what the hell are they going to do? Like you only have one bye. They did not build in these bye weeks here. So I don't know. Obviously, the NBA bubble was not feasible for the NFL, but like going about it the way they did with how contagious this is and how quickly it can ramp up out of control, I am just, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen. Almost using the word curious is a little bit morbid. But I mean, I have no idea. I really don't know. This isn't going to be the last time either. Also, I don't think we're going to see this happen to another team sometime this season.
Sure. And I'm glad that we brought this up real quick just to touch on it. And we don't need to go fully in depth, but I think that's very well said. It's, things are happening. Okay. Things happen. It is what it is. Try to prepare for it as best you can, but you've got to deal with the current circumstances as well. So I don't know if Cam Newton's going to be playing, but it brings me back to something that I wonder about regarding Blake Bortles. Vic Fangio said last in training camp rather, that they were not considering a designated quarterback in case of emergencies, not second string, not third string, but take that
We've
as
already
you
hit the
will.
emergency. We've already hit the emergency point this season for the Broncos.
Specific designated quarterback in case things happen. Much like I believe one of the McCown brothers is right now for a team and stuff like that. Here's a quick question I got for you. I mean, we saw the quick little RPO play and that was cute, but Blake Bortles wasn't brought here to just sit on the practice squad. It wasn't my favorite move in the world. I'm sure it wasn't your favorite move in the world. Can we see Blake Bortles as number 2 this week against the Patriots? I guess not this week, but heading into the Patriots game. What do you think at the backup quarterback position, specifically with regards to that new big-headed quarterback?
Well, honestly, I feel like the Broncos have to use a little bit of Cloak and Dagger to compete with their quarterback situation right now. Again, they don't get to play the Jets every week, who are as dysfunctional as a franchise as I can remember right now, like really no direction. But I think that the Broncos might be smart. I mean, I would give Rippon another chance. I'm not expecting greatness, but if he can prove competent, that would be good. Maybe you can get an asset for him, trading him, or he can be a cheap backup second string or third string. But honestly, it would be really kind of cool for the old coach Vic Fangio to come in this week. It'd be like all week, we're going to start ripping. We're going to start ripping. We're going to start ripping. And then outtrots Bortles. Patriots did not prepare for him. I mean, it's like kind of like going with a different starting pitcher. It's that kind of thing where you don't have to tell them. You can, and right now teams don't do this because typically you want the best quarterback out there to play. But right now the Broncos are in such deep poop when it comes to the quarterback position and the injuries that like maybe having that the Patriots that little bit of a sleight of hand where you can go with a different quarterback is a way to gain a little bit of a competitive advantage.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird. I mean, it's weird. It's not normal.
Interesting. It's like an Alex Jones. It's an Alex Jones theory, man. You know what I mean? Where sometimes you're like, maybe that could happen, but no, man, I don't think Blake Bortles is going to be out there as your starting quarterback. No way. Why would he be? I didn't even want him on the team, Nick. And I know you like other quarterbacks. I like other quarterbacks, but man, I am not pumped, even if I see Blake Bortles as the backup quarterback, just because Brett Rippon took a beating, right? I don't think he got sacked technically against the Jets. Maybe I'm incorrect there. And I think I only saw 4 knockdowns, but he was hit a lot more than 4 times. And I'm sure he was riding high on cloud 9 the next day about that first victory and getting texts from friends and families and phone calls and stuff like that. But I'm also sure he was feeling pretty sore. So, I definitely think Rippon's in. He's the guy for right now. Interesting enough, though, and I want to spin this over real quick and ask you this, and then I want to get to some of our comments, man. We've got a great chat going on in there, and we can release that for the last segment. But Vic Fangio coming out saying Drew Lock 50-50 against the New England Patriots. Why is Coach saying that? I don't think
exactly what I just said. It's confusing Bill Belichick. You have to prepare for multiple guys.
It's the quote Coach from last year, playing silly little games when it comes to, were they going to start Drew Lock for his first career game ever? And last week, I thought maybe they were playing little games a little bit before they announced Brett Rippon. We all had a sense that it was coming, but you just weren't quite sure based off the way that they handled Drew Lock and some of those things with Joe Flacco and stuff like that, and Case Keenum and the quarterback carousel, 9 quarterbacks. But yeah, I think it's definitely possible you see a 10th quarterback before the season's done. I don't think Drew's anywhere near ready to come back. 50-50, that definitely is a little shot at the old Bill Belichick and the hoodie out there in New England.
Well, we got a sorry, I want to do a sidebar here with Falling Sloth. Great name. Shout out to a fellow epidemiologist. I worked on statistical modeling of Chagas disease in Latin America before I switched to working with animals. So Falling Sloth, that is freaking awesome, dude. I'm actually
That's
working
great.
on vaccine trials right now, but
Thank you for
really
joining
cool.
the show, Falling Sloth.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. And everybody else, let us know what y'all do too.
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter.
Broncos country. Yeah, hit me up, hit Bawana up, hit us all up because we love learning about our community and our great following. And here we go with Kenneth Booker coming in hot. Let Locke and Lindsay heal up more, at least one more week. I completely agree. Nick, I'm sure you do as well, man. You don't need to get Drew out there right now because that would be a different scenario. It's Broncos are in a playoff pinch. They really think they can get there. We got to rush our guy out there right now. And that's just not the case for the 2020 season.
I absolutely agree with you there. I mean, it would be great to get him back out there, but do you want to put him out there when he's not close to 100% with a throwing shoulder injury and he's going to put out potentially up and down tape, and the interior offensive line is struggling like they are? I think your best bet, especially with a tough defense in the Patriots and a tough scheming defense in the Patriots, your best bet is to, I guess, sacrifice whoever the quarterback is this week to the Wolves, so to speak, and then let Locke come back out there. If the Broncos win this week, that's great. They stole a game. But if they don't, again, you need to – the wins and loss matter, but it's really more about evaluating Locke and this offense and making sure that he can be the guy. So I think that's what it's about. And you want him healthy. I mean, it gives you time to have the offensive line get a little bit more cohesion, especially that interior. Maybe bring him back when Fant's ready. Also, I mean, having that guy out there as a security blanket is almost as good as it gets. So I definitely think it's a little bit of gamesmanship by the old coach. And we definitely we are having questions here. You guys are great. This is where we want to go. Buana, my hands are off the clicker. You can take it now.
This is me. I'm fighting with Bawana, and I'm going to just jump in here because I know we didn't address him too much. Sorry, John. You can yell at me later. The boss, Esquivel, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please let me know if I am not. Thoughts on Nigel Bradham? He's visiting the Broncos, and I'm so glad that you brought that up because, we touched on it just briefly, I think, maybe for a quick sentence. But what do you know about this cat? Because I know that he started out with the Bills, went over to the Eagles, seems to be a tackling machine. Now, not a sack artist, it's more of a coverage linebacker. What do you think of this linebacker visiting Denver right now? Do you like it? And follow up to that, do you expect him to be signed?
I'm not sure if he will be signed, but it makes sense. I thought he was a solid linebacker. It's the linebackers are weird because there are guys who are really good difference makers, and then there's just a heap of guys who are just like Jags, right? They're just available on the market. Now, granted, you want them entrenched in knowing the defense and that communication, which takes time. You can't just plug and play guys, but I think Bradham's a solid linebacker. And at worst, you're providing a little bit of depth there, and he can come in and do some special team stuff. And I mean, what is after right now? What's after Jewell and Alexander Johnson? I mean, it's an issue. Mark Barron's still hurt. He's on IR.
You got Josh Watson out there who was activated, I think. He's a guy that I like. I don't know if he's quite ready, and obviously the coaches don't trust him to quite be out there, but you might be seeing him a lot too, man. And that's one of those things, probably a Jag for me as well. The difference, though, and we were texting off air, and I put my foot in my mouth for a second because I said, yeah, man, they got an old man linebacker in the hood. And they're visiting with him, and I think that means it's a signing. You know what? That's okay at 31 years old, which is considered old in the NFL. It's bizarre, That's a good thing, Nick, because what do we have on the defense? Youth and inexperience. If you can get an experienced linebacker in here that is very competent, and I would say, average in his game, then that's a win. That's a win right now for the Broncos. So to answer the question, I absolutely think that he's going to be signed. I don't think the Broncos have brought anybody in that they haven't signed yet. That's just the sign of the times right now. And Barron, I don't know why they signed Barron. I mean, did you not know that I guess this was going to happen? Probably not. Maybe that's a stupid question, but hey, it is what it is.
Yep. Absolutely. So we'll see. I mean, it would be good just to add some depth because, I mean, the special teams unit is once again having issues. I mean, how hard is it for Deontay Spencer to understand that if the ball is in the end zone to not bring it out? At this point, it's like that's on the coach at this point too, because like, dude, if you do this again, we're gonna put like Driscoll back there to catch it because he's gonna do it, or maybe even Rippon. Like he's smart. Like what the hell are you doing? But not again the coverage units. Bradham is at least gonna help bring some depth there, another body that can come in there and make some tackles. So that's good. Sorry, the special teams. Todd McMahon is like just driving me nuts.
Me too.
We got Duke coming in here. Duke Boynton, obviously with his gorgeous granddaughter. Congratulations,
What's up, Duke?
Everyone
Layla.
get a.
Layla
Yes.
is the name of his granddaughter because that is the name of my daughter. We were rapping about that and spinning some yarns. So congratulations, Duke. Appreciate you.
So yeah, he's saying preseason is officially over for the coaches. They went 1-3 to polish off their coaching skills. Training wheels are off. Here's to many more wins with the cheers emoji. I do appreciate that, Duke, and congratulations to you once again. That's great. I'm a parent to 2 pets. That's about as far as I'm going right now.
Yeah. Hey,
Not
man. And you're moving and, you're hiking and everything. And shout out to all you parents out there. I know it's a hard time right now with what's going on. That's awesome, Luke. Yeah, man. Layla. I'm a young cat. I'm getting older. I'm 29, so I'm not quite at 30. But Eric Clapton, man, I've always dug on Clapton. So people always ask, is it Layla, the song from? Yeah, it is. And I don't care if you think that's corny. I think it's dope. But no, Duke is another huge supporter. You guys are doing great, man. And we've got just a little bit more time. So let's get to some more of your questions. Thoughts on Bosby? I'm happy to see Bosby out there. I thought, I didn't see him as much as I would have liked to. That being said, I like what I'm seeing from the Rook, Michael Ojemudia. I'm loving what I see from the Rook. You go back and you start to grade, and Eric Trickle does a really good job at grading players. Get at milehighhuddle.com and look at his grades after each game. But thoughts on Bosby, Nick? What do you got the young cat at?
I was impressed when he came in. Again, it's the Jets, and it's a very small sample size. So we need to see what comes of it. I mean, the Jets, they were down to like Jamison Crowder or Chris Hogan, and those are like the only names that I even could recognize.
Barrios, I think, was another one I was telling John to look out for, and they didn't even look his way, let alone the tight end, bro. What was the name of the tight end for the Jets?
Chris Herndon, yeah.
They just decided not to use him at all.
He's solid, too. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the Jets, like you said. Jets.
Adam Gase, man. Get him blasting straight into the sun. But I think that Bosby really showed out there, and I think Callahan's also playing very well right now. I mean, maybe this is crazy to say, but once Boye is healthy, considering how expensive he is, maybe, and if the season gets off the rails again, maybe the Broncos should look to just, even if they brought in like a 6th or 7th round pick to shed some of that salary and give these young guys a chance, because Bosby looked like he belonged. I know a lot of people are, especially on Twitter and even worse on Facebook. Shout out to everybody listening on Facebook. But I know a lot of people are giving Ojemudia a hard time. But at this point with Ojemudia, you need to be able to understand watching the film where it's more about the process than the end result. Teams are throwing at him right now just because they want to see, and he's being that number 1 boundary corner a lot. So they're going at him. But I think he shows he belongs. I mean, his coverage ability, the one different coverages he can play, which they did not really do at Iowa. So that's great to see. He's very physical. I do want to see him get that interception. He needs to make up for that Pittsburgh drop that he had. And also, I hope Alexander Johnson bought him like a steak dinner or something after taking away his first pick. But I think Ojemudia looks really good. So does Callahan and Bosby. So I know that we've been harping on cornerback, but all of a sudden it looks like with Boye coming back here soon, maybe that cornerback position is going to be one of the better positions on the team. So, and also that, again, I see James Campbell coming in here. That pass interference call that was called on Ojemudia, I'm sorry, Chad, forgive me, but bullshit. Like, that was just a horrible call. I'm cussing.
Absolute junk, dude. Absolute junk. And before we go too far, yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Just terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. So, yeah, I completely agree. And speaking of terrible, I just got to get a couple other things with the Jets, man, dude. Obviously, speaking of drops, how about Vic Fangio's little drop trying to get Garrett Bowles in the end zone, man, or in the locker room, rather, things like that, man. I'm glad that game I'm glad the game's over. I'm glad they got their win. I'm glad guys are relatively healthy. I'm glad no one's suspended. That being said, man, I'm going to give Vic Fangio some props because I've been dogging on him really hard in my writing, the podcast, stuff like that, asking questions. I'm not quite ready. I'm not ready to fire him. And, I've said it before. Don't come at me with fire the head coach because I'm going to come at you with and replace him with who. And if you don't have an answer, then don't just start calling for people's jobs because that's a lazy take. You're educated. Find another candidate if that's the way you feel. That being said, props to Vic Fangio. I liked that he had his control over the team. He got those guys in the locker room. I think that was a leadership quality. Now, does it make up for his, game one debacle? No. Does it make up for any of his other mistakes? No. But it's a sign of things going in the right direction. It's something that winning will do for you. And props to Vic Fangio for taking control of his team.
Yeah, and also props to Garrett Bowles saying, I'm going to beat your rear end because the Jets were pulling some BS
Bush League stuff.
Yeah,
Bush
just
League stuff.
Embarrassing.
Absolutely. We got Kevin coming in. What's up, Kev? Appreciate you so much, man. Do y'all think Cam is in the hospital in some banana looking suit instead of a cucumber or instead of a hospital gown and a scarf and a pimp hat? Yeah, man, he's probably up in there, maybe looking like Medea with his slippers and all that other stuff, man. Say what you want about the cat, man, and those dreads drive me crazy because you see so many dreads that are dope, and then I just don't know what Cam's doing, but the guy's been surprising me, Nick. He's surprised me this season. I don't know what it is. Josh McDaniel seems to be tailoring things to Cam, and Cam seems to be embracing a more mature, responsible, different role, and probably throughout his entire life. What do you make of Cam Newton? Health concerns aside, what do you make of the New England Patriots quarterback that joined the team right before the season started?
Well, I think the biggest thing with Cam Newton is he had not been healthy the last 2 years. He had a bum throwing shoulder, which is one reason I'm not eager to throw out Drew Lock if he's not healthy. But like Cam Newton, he lost that velocity and he never was the most accurate quarterback. But in terms of arm talent and mobility, he'd go out there and do some things. It's kind of like what Josh Allen's doing right now. But I think he's healthy. And also he gave us a really quality meme / GIF where I think he's talking to N.K. Harry and then kind of just slides out of the chair. So I've been about that. And so we'll see if he can play. Really, it's just wait and see because we don't know if he's going to be infectious. I mean, maybe the Patriots are going to have an outbreak here. We don't know. And Kenneth, we got to get to this question before we get on out of here. This is probably the last one we get unless somebody comes in the last second here. Eric Bieniemy would be a nice replacement. I think he's talking about for Fangio, and would take a strength from our enemy. I can tell you, based on what I've heard, any thoughts of Eric Bieniemy coming to the Broncos are not happening because there is. I mean, let's just call it as it is. There's a lot of Me Too issues in the background for him in the state of Colorado. And they are severe enough. It's probably the reason he hasn't gotten a head coaching gig yet, because once he's hired, there's going to be some ugly stuff that comes to the surface, and specifically in the state of Colorado. So it's not happening. And it is some, I mean, say what you will about it, but it's a grenade. So we'll see if it'll all come to light if somebody hires him, but I can tell you definitively it will not be for the Denver Broncos. So there we go. But guys, we got to get out of here. Oh, Nick's Papa's barking. Actually, you can say Nick's boss is barking, Duke. Chad said we cannot go over 59 minutes. Otherwise, we will get in trouble. So,
and Nick's already got in trouble, and I can't wait to see. I just wish I'm there for it when you do get in trouble because, I get after Chad, and Chad gets after me. But before we go, real quick, Miller707 champ, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. You guys absolutely killed it tonight. Man, this hour always goes so fast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. Leave us a rating, a thumbs up. Get at milehighhuddle.com. And yeah, man, a fun show, dude. I'm going to keep believing in that Mile High magic because these Broncos, man, they deserve to get something going. They deserve to win more games for Broncos country. So appreciate you so much.
Yep. Thanks, guys, very much. Find us on Twitter at Nick Kendell, MHH, at Luke Patterson, LP. Really important if you like the show or anything, like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. That can help us a lot. Comment on iTunes, like or heart emoji on Facebook, and follow us at MHI_pod and at Mile High Huddle. We're an affiliate of Sports Illustrated. This is Mile High Insiders. We'll be here again next Saturday to break down even more. We'll get into the specifics of the Patriots because we got a little bit of a break here, but the Broncos are still going to be riding a win streak a week from now. So heck yeah, we love you guys.
Dude. We're gonna see
and
you
as
next
always,
Saturday.
next Saturday, go Broncos.